Do I believe their words? Do I believe their actions? Like maybe it's not them. Like maybe they're not the ones cheating. Maybe I'm just really insecure. And you start beating yourself up. Like you start thinking like, wait a second, like maybe it's not me. Understanding that like if you're in the place where you're with someone who's spending like a ton of time on their phone, they're being secretive about their whereabouts, they're acting distant, there's all these like little things. There could be cases of infidelity, there could be places of they're cheating on you, but you also have to understand it's not just that is for you to pull the plug. Should you wait for proof if your partner is cheating? A lot of times when we talk about narcissistic abuse and dealing with a narcissist, you might have this idea that he's cheating on you. You might suspect that something's happening, but you're not sure. You don't have proof. Maybe you're debating of like, do I confront them about it? Maybe I have confronted them about it. It's gotten explained away. Like, what do I actually do? A lot of times you might be considering that you might be wrong, that it's been explained away. And accusing your partner is just going to damage the relationship, or it's going to hurt it even more, or that's what they told you. A lot of times people don't realize how oftentimes narcissists are cheaters. I normally say narcissists are all cheaters because they cheat you out of time, money, energy, your dreams, everything like that. I was a cheater. I was a person who did this consistently over and over and over again. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, change, and development. Part of my journey included cheating, included having affairs. It wasn't just a one-night stand, but multiple affairs over a period of time. And it became worse and worse, of more and more time spent in these, more intricate lies, more things that were developed. But at the same time, I wasn't giving proof. There was no proof that was there. There was evidence that was hidden. There was lies that were given. There was multiple things happening, but I wasn't actually showing any type of proof that it was even happening. So my wife a lot of times would bring up different questions and concerns that she'd have, and I would explain those away. A lot of times you'll hear us talk about that in the form of gaslighting, of being like, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Like, that's not what you actually think. Like, why would you even think that? That doesn't even make sense. Like, you need to really check to see your insecurity problems or your issues and flip it around on her. Do this over and over and over again, making her feel crazy, making her feel insane for even bringing it up. The majority of the time, she would push it away. She'd be like, okay, well, I guess that he's not. One of the things that is hard is you might be in a relationship right now that you don't know. You don't know for sure. You have this sneaking suspicion. You have a lot of signs that point to him cheating on you, but you don't know. And so you're questioning and you're waiting and you're debating of, do I actually do this? Like, do I make a decision or do I not? Like, which do I actually do? That's one of the biggest debates that people have when they're in a toxic relationship and they think the person is cheating. Because you might be in the same place where the partner that you're with isn't actually giving you any clues or isn't giving you any proof of what's actually happening. Did you have the time where you talk to this person and you ask him, like, are you cheating on me? Is there someone else? Like, you ask all these different questions and they never tell you. Maybe you've even gotten to the place where you've discovered some piece of proof or seen a text message. You're like, wait a second, like, this is showing that you're cheating on me. This is showing that there's something here, and it's explained away. That person's just a friend. You're taken out of context. Like, why would I even do that? That person's married. Of course I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to cause that embarrassment to you. Like, over and over, there's all types of thoughts and excuses that come out to the place instead of full transparency. You might be at the place where you're wondering, why won't the person that I'm with even be honest with me? Like, just tell me the truth. Maybe they fake honesty, or they tell you certain things, or you start to look through their phone and you notice things are missing. Things are deleted. Things are not there. One of the things that happens a lot of times with narcissists is trying to cover their tracks so well that it makes you feel crazy because you can't actually find any type of proof. So the question and the debate is, do I stay or do I go? Like, which do I actually do? Do I actually make a decision to leave this person when I don't have proof? The hard thing is when we're talking about a toxic relationship, you can get to the place where you start to hold on to the concept of, if they're cheating, then I can leave. If they're doing this one thing, then I can leave. Cheating oftentimes is the normal one of like, well, if he cheats on me, then I'm out. The problem is you're the same type of person that will be with that person multiple times after they cheat and not move out and not actually make a break. Not because that person is changing at all, but because you're deciding to put up with it or give them one more chance or give them one more time. Because at the end of the day, you cannot make a decision based on that one thing. Because if a narcissist knows, so if you tell a narcissist, hey, if you cheat on me, we're done. They'll cheat on you all day long, but you'll never know. Because of the fact that they know this is something that you value that would actually end the relationship. This is something that if I do this, the relationship will end and I'll look like the bad guy. So I don't want to look like the bad guy. So I'm not going to be the bad guy. So I'm not going to do this and get caught. But a lot of times narcissists will still do it anyways. Did you have a relationship, or are you in a relationship where he's been cheating on you? Or where you suspect it, you think this is going on? You might be wanting more proof and thinking maybe if I have more proof, it'll actually help. It'll actually work out that I'll be able to figure this out. Sometimes waiting around can be one of the biggest stressors on your life. I know a person that's been waiting for years to get actual proof before she's willing to make a decision to get out of the relationship. What it's done is wreaked havoc on her life. It's wreaked havoc on her kids, the relationship that she has with her kids, because the anxiety and the stress that is there so much of looking and wanting and hoping and thinking there might be proof one day when he's cheating on her, but she doesn't have proof. Sometimes if you wait around for proof, you're going to wait around for a long period of time. And a long period of time, and you're not going to get to the place of actually ever having proof. Or if you do, how many years might you have wasted on that? Now, I'm not just saying leave people over a gut instinct, so don't misquote me or get me out of context, okay? But at the end of the day, like, you have to understand that the person you're being with is either willing to be honest, vulnerable, and show consistent change, or they're not. And if they're not, then you don't really have a relationship. You don't really have a depth to the person that you're talking to the relationship that is supposedly there. You see, a lot of times narcissists will cheat, but then they'll tell you to trust them. Except the majority of times they'll tell you to trust them without providing any proof, without providing any means to be able to trust them. It's amazing how a lot of times you talk to a narcissist and you're like, hey, how are you going to improve the relationship? Well, I'm just going to do better. Okay, well, how are you going to help her trust? Well, I'm just going to be more honest. Like all this kind of stuff that's like, that's not practical steps. Like, what are you actually going to do, implement, change, develop so that you can actually be the person that is going to be trustworthy? Because otherwise, you're waiting around and you're hoping for something. Sometimes this will lead to paranoia, where you're questioning and doubting every single thing out there. You'll develop higher levels of insecurity. Like, what is actually happening? Like, this will further damage emotional, mental health, and the relationship. Like, you'll be looking and waiting for proof so much, they'll be distracted on actually investing in your kids, actually investing in your job, actually starting to plan like the next step of life because you're waiting so much for this one thing. And then you get to the place where you're going to make an accusation. This is where it gets flipped around and shown back on you, where you say like, hey, I think you're cheating on me. And you pull out like whatever pieces of proof or questions or ideas, and it flips around back on you. Then you're the bad one. Then you're the toxic person. You're the person that's insecure, that's attacking. All these different things get pulled out when you're like, wait a second, like you spend so much time with this person or disappeared or all these different things. Like you have like these different like gut instincts. Now I know we can't always trust our gut, but a lot of times the gut instinct is there to warn you of something that doesn't actually add up. But when you bring that up to a narcissist, they're going to flip it around on you. They're going to switch it around and make you feel like you're the bad person. Have you had that happen? Where you come to the table and you bring up a concern, an issue, a problem, a feeling, an emotion, and all of a sudden you feel like you're apologizing for what you just brought up. Like you're sorry for inconveniencing him in the moment. Of like, well, I'm sorry. Like, I guess I shouldn't have said anything. Like, I shouldn't have brought up like my concern because like obviously I'm wrong. And it gets flipped around on you to make you feel bad and to push you down and to make sure that you actually typically conform or comply to the toxic person in your life. If you're at the place where you're like, I don't know, should I wait for this proof or should I not wait for this proof? Like you have to look at other aspects in the relationship. How is this person developing honesty? How are they showing and demonstrating respect? How is the relationship growing and fostering care? Like you need to look at the facts of the situation. Until you get really clear about the facts that you do know, you'll never understand a piece of it that you don't know or that you don't have proof for. The thing you have to understand is people look for proof of cheating and they look for diagnosis to be justified in leaving a toxic relationship. The majority of the time, you should have already left based on the other traits, based on the rage, based on the lying, based on the manipulation, based on the gaslighting, based on so many different things in the relationship that you're like, I should have left, but I was holding on for one thing. If I had confirmation of that person being a narcissist, if I had confirmation of this person being a cheater, then I would have left. The problem is that means you're going to accept a whole lot more of shit before you actually get to the place of making a decision, because you're not sure what to do, because you're only evaluating it by one or two things. And as a result, you're willing to stay through a lot of abuse and through a lot of toxicity to try to get to the place of hoping that the relationship's going to work out. A lot of times people will do this, and it breeds this concept of cognitive dissonance of like, do I believe their words? Do I believe their actions? Like, maybe it's not them. Like, maybe they're not the ones cheating. Maybe I'm just really insecure. And you start beating yourself up. Like, you start thinking like, wait a second, like maybe it's not me. Understanding that, like, if you're in the place where you're with someone who's spending like a ton of time on their phone, they're being secretive about their whereabouts, they're acting distant, there's all these like little things. There could be cases of infidelity. There could be places of they're cheating on you. But you also have to understand it's not just that is for you to pull the plug. Like, if they're cheating and you find out about it, sure, like pull the plug. But like, if you see that, you also have to evaluate like, how is the rest of the relationship? How are they demonstrating love? How are they demonstrating care? How are they demonstrating respect? How are they demonstrating loyalty? How are they demonstrating all these different things of building you up, of working in the relationship? If you're wondering right now, like, how do I determine, is this person a narcissist? Are they a cheater? Am I the toxic person? What's going on? I'll have you go to escapetoxicity.com today to start understanding more about it. You can click the link on any of the bios to help understand more about narcissistic abuse, more about narcissism, and how to get free from the toxic person that you're currently with.